everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be my monthly installment of Shop My Stash. So that is a series I do here on my channel where I pick out products to really focus in on the month, see if they still need to be in my collection, if I still love them, if I want to declutter them, report back to you, tell you my findings, and then we pick out new products together. So if that sounds good to you, if you like Shop My Stash videos, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I would love it if you stuck around. But with all that, let's just get started. All right, let me quickly just address the background. As most of you know by now, I have been traveling for a while. Currently, I'm at a dog rescue in Spain, and I tried to pre-film as much as I could for that trip because I knew that there's a lot of dogs barking. I'm staying on site with 300 dogs, so the barking's an issue, the lighting's an issue, but there's only so much pre-filming I can do. Some of my videos have like a time constraint, like I need to film them closer to posting them, so doing the best that I can here, but I'm hoping you don't mind because I have a cute little dog here. So this is Deseo. She's one of the apartment dogs. So she has kidney failure. She's 8 years old. So she's probably just gonna stay here and she gets to stay in the apartment and just get a lot of love until the end of her life. So she gets to do whatever she wants here. She's choosing to stay on the bed. I actually am filming this video twice because there's a second dog, Pedro. If you saw him in one of my other videos, I think a Will I Buy It that I filmed, and he was on the bed. He's choosing though to be very disruptive. He's very in a playful mood and wants to play with his squeaky toy. So he got kicked out of the bedroom. He has nothing wrong with him. He's just here to be a nice friend to Deseo. So he doesn't get the same privileges as her, and she's just being very sweet, and she just wants to keep me company. But I hope that's okay. I hope you can stick through it. Eventually, I will get back to a normal setup, but until then, I don't know. But let's just go over these products. I actually don't have too many because I knew I was going to be traveling. I didn't want to pack too much with me. This is my second trip here, so I knew that I wasn't going to be wearing as much makeup as I thought that I was going to be, and I really tried to condense it down. So I'm going to start with my primer, which is the Winky Luxe Whipped Cream Primer. This was kind of supposed to be a dupe for the Tarte Smoothing Primer. This has now been discontinued, and it very much is very similar to the Tarte, but like the name would suggest, it's more airy, it's more whipped. Here's kind of what it looks like. I made a pretty good dent in this. You don't need a lot, but I was pretty consistent with my use since I really only had these products plus my project pan. It was easier to focus in on some products and get some better usage than maybe I would normally get if I was at my home. So I'm happy with the usage on this. Would I repurchase it? No, but I'm happy to have it and it does its job. So that's really all I have to say about that. For foundation, I wanted to pick one that I could really rely on, that I knew that I loved. So that is the Beauty Blender Bounce Skin Tint. I also wanted a skin tint. The problem with this is that I have the shade Light 4, which is a pretty good shade match for me year round, but I'm in the sun. Like, we start at 8 a.m. and we are supposed to finish at 7 p.m. But usually it's a little bit longer than that. And I'm out in the sun the entire time. So I have like significantly gotten darker. I did anticipate that, and I brought my darkest skin tint to kind of mix with it. So I've been doing that, but even then, I just haven't been wearing foundation as much as maybe I would love. And you can still see like it's still a little bit light. So there was just multiple factors that didn't make me reach for this as much as I wanted to in the last month. However, this is an excellent skin tint. It's on the more affordable side. I want to say it's $29, and I recommend this to everyone. I think it's really long lasting. I think it wears really well. It is, you know, it's not magic. It's gonna still break down in the heat and the sweat and the humidity, but for what I'm putting this through, it could do a lot worse. I like this a lot. I think it held up really well. Now, I used this more. This is my concealer, the Milani Conceal and Perfect in the shade 125 Light Natural. This was just a little bit darker. It matched me better. So day to day, I'll be honest, I was usually just spot concealing with this and then using my powder foundation, which we'll go over in a second. So this got a lot more wear. I really enjoy this concealer a lot more than I enjoy the foundation. I had the foundation at one point, it expired on me, but the foundation's very full coverage. This is not, even though it's part of the Conceal and Perfect line. I would say it's medium, leaning towards full, but definitely nowhere near the full coverage that the foundation is. Now, the only thing with this I will say is that it's a very thick formula. So if you have a lot of fine lines and wrinkles, I don't think that I would recommend this. But if you want something with some coverage that doesn't move, this is a really nice concealer, and it's affordable, it's more drugstore. So I really would recommend this one for a lot of people, and I enjoyed using it every day. So that was really nice and a nice alternative to my foundation. The powder foundation that I was talking about, this is the L'Oreal Age Perfect Creamy Powder Foundation in the shade 300. I don't hate this powder foundation, but I really don't love it. It's not like my cup of tea. I'm also not like a super big powder foundation person. Not really sure why I bought it. Actually, I do know why I bought it. It's because I really like this Age Perfect line, so I thought I needed it all. This is not like a product I could see myself finishing, which is it's kind of something I consider when I think about whether I want to keep this in my collection or not, but I'm not ready to let go of it just yet. So maybe in the future it'll come up in a declutter, but for now I am gonna keep this. I like it enough, just it did look powdery on my skin, and I really couldn't get it to all the time like become one with my skin, and I just had a hard time like using this product. I found it like broke apart here on my forehead pretty often in the heat. I mean, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but to really stress, like beads of sweat are coming down my face. So that could be the majority factor of why it's breaking up so easily. But yeah, I'm gonna hang on to this just a little bit more. Now we get into some face products. So in lieu of bronzer, blush, and highlight, I decided to pick a face palette. And this was unopened in my collection. This is the Samantha March and Ofra collab, The Lifes of Draft. It had a bronzer, a blush, a highlight, and then these 8 eyeshadows. I don't know why I had this unopened. I think I had purchased it and then new things came in and I kind of just not forgot about it, but didn't prioritize trying this. And I decided like this would be the time for me to do it. And I'm gonna declutter this. I really grappled with that decision, but I do think that I'm going to declutter it. My major issues with this palette is the bronzer and the blush are shimmery, which is not my it's not my preference when it comes to a bronzer and a blush. I would just be happier if one of these was matte. It wouldn't even matter like if the bronzer was matte or the blush and the other glowy, just to have like a little bit of contrast. Like it's just glow on glow on glow, and I don't love that. Then after that, with the eyeshadows, I do love purples, but these are not the types of purples that I love. Really, I just like these 2 mattes here and this shimmer, but this one here specifically, this matte here reminds me of a matte that was in my Project 10 Uses that I ended up decluttering that single. So I just don't think that I will use this palette like it's intended. I did think, you know, all these pans are removable. My favorite thing that I just dug my nail into is the highlight, but I'd rather, the thing is, if I pull this palette apart, I don't feel like the value is still there. Like if I give this to someone without the highlighter, like that's just not what I want to do. And I have enough highlighters to not like absolutely need this in my life, you know? Like there's other highlights. I have the other Samantha March highlight collab, so I don't think I'll miss it in my collection. And overall conclusion is I'm going to declutter this palette. I think I'm going to give it to my sister-in-law or something. She's been wanting like some makeup, so I think this would be perfect for her and just be like a nice complete little palette. So that is that palette. And then I just have one more eyeshadow palette and some lip products. Like I said, there was not a lot of products that I pulled this month. So for my eyeshadow palette, I knew that I wanted to bring my Tarte Tartelette in Bloom palette because this is a nice neutral. And at the time I thought like, okay, I have some purples, I'll have some neutrals. I am wearing this palette today. Of course, everything that I'm wearing is listed down in the description box below. Top palette for me. Love this palette. I mean, I knew that I love this palette, but using it again this past month just really reaffirmed how much I love this palette. Like it is one of the palettes, if my entire makeup collection disappeared overnight, this is like one of the 5 palettes I would go out and repurchase it. I just think it's the perfect neutral palette. Not the perfect one. I take that back. It is one of the most perfect ones. For mainstream, the mattes can't be beat. I don't think that it's dark skin tone friendly. In my opinion, I'd have to have other people kind of like weigh in on that, obviously. But you just have everything. Like you have this like kind of cool tone matte row. No, there is a shimmer here, like this taupey shimmer. What am I trying to say? What are words? So you have more of a cool tone row. You have more of like a neutral, warm, like neutral row. Then you have like these rosy, warm tones. And you have 3 mattes in each row and a shimmer. The only thing is I wish the shimmers were a little bit more impactful. Like that's about it though. Like I want them to be indie shadows for the shimmers, and that's not going to happen. But other than that, like I'm going to keep this palette until it completely tells me that it's done with. I've had this for a long time. It still smells really great, and I will repurchase it once the time comes that this palette's no longer good, because I just feel really pretty when I use this palette. I feel like elegant when I use this palette. I love this palette so, so much. It was one of my first ones. I was thinking even today, like when I was applying this palette and using it, I was thinking that, you know, the Urban Decay Naked palette was a palette that a lot of people's like their first really nice palette. For me, it was this one. I just recently did a video talking about popular products that I never tried, and the Urban Decay Naked was on there. Same with the Too Faced Chocolate Bar. Like I did not buy that palette either. To me, this is that palette, and I still to this day, I just love it. So this is absolutely going to be staying. And then I have my 4 lip products. I still chose 4 because they're small. I figured why not? Let's just go over them. The first one that I picked was the ColourPop Blotted Lip in Melty. Really like this one, and probably this was my most used. So it's kind of like this brownie, semi-matte. It gives you like that K-beauty vibe. I don't like a lot of ColourPop lip products. I've decluttered most of them, but I do like the Blotted Lip, and I like the Just a Tints. So this is a pretty unique shade for me in my collection, and I like it a lot. I also have a mini of the Clinique. This is part of their pop collection, their lipstick pop collection in Sugar Plum Pop. And I've pulled this in quite a few times to shop my stash because I love it so much. It's kind of like a lip gloss lipstick hybrid because it's very sheer, gives a good shine, and it's very comfortable on the lips with just like a hint of color. So this was like an easy one. I did still want to bring stuff that I knew that I liked and would get use out of more so than like testing purposes. Normally, like I try to test things to see if they belong in my collection. Like I said, this month I kind of wanted to pick out things that I knew I liked. The third one is the Flower Beauty lipstick in Sheer Snapdragon. You know, for the amount of lip products that I have, I've used this one. You can see it, like this is good use for me on lipstick. Only thing I hate about this is the packaging. I just don't like lipsticks that don't fit into a lipstick holder. I really hate that. But here's the shade Sheer Snapdragon. I do think that they reformulated and repackaged these, by the way. And then the fourth one, the one that I'm wearing today, is from Roman. This is the Fudge Blur Fudge Tint. I always get those mixed up. And it's in Coral Jubilee. It's like a scared red. Like, you don't want to go full red, but you want a little bit of red. That's why I'm wearing it today with the neutral eye. It's kind of like this muted salmony color, but still kind of gives like a little bit of red on the lips. Really love it. It's what I'm wearing today. This is one of my favorite formulas. Very similar, like I said, to the ColourPop Blotted Lip. This just has a little bit more shine than this one, which is K-Beauty. So you can see, I don't know if you can see, this is just a little bit more matte on the lips, and this is a little bit, just a smidge more hydrating, but does kind of give the same effect. So all four of these are staying. Everything I loved, and surprisingly, the only thing I disliked was the unopened things. So I think that that's not too bad. I don't always declutter, but sometimes I do. And I think that it's just, I think it's the right choice for me. I did just go back and forth, like I said, pulling it apart. I love the collaborator, but I just don't think when push comes to shove, I'll use this palette. I even like having the bronzer, blush, and highlight, like I didn't use these one time and I didn't want to. I only reached for my Project Pan products, which I'll link that playlist up above and down below if you're interested in project panning, because I didn't even want to see if it looked good. So that tells me like, I don't need this, right? It's unfortunate. I wish I liked this a little bit more. But those are all the products that I've been trying for the last month. Now, I will be honest, what you're about to see next, picking the products, has been pre-filmed because clearly I don't have my collection here. There'd be no way for me to film that. So I have them all in this bag here, this very dirty makeup bag. I brought them with me. So it's all in there, but we're gonna kind of go back in time, pick out the products. I picked a little bit more this time, and then finally I'm gonna pack these up, put them in their makeup bag, and we're just gonna swap makeup bags. Easy peasy. So thanks for sticking with me again. I know I've already said that multiple times, but I do really appreciate it. I know that sometimes it's a little bit tough to watch videos that aren't the best quality, and it gets a little bit irritating. So if you're sticking around, I really do appreciate you. Let me know down below in the comments so I can give you a personal thank you. But we're just gonna jump on over to me picking the products for this upcoming month. All right, as you can see, I'm in the same setup I was last month. And for October, I still want to stick with more of a pore blurring primer, but I've rotated this one a few times now. And I really want to finish up my Tatcha. Like, this one's getting there. I mean, I still have a few months, but it's still kind of more of a hydrating primer. This one's unopened. Maybe I'll go with my Catrice Goodbye Pores, or this one's the Gripping. Actually, let me go in with the Cover FX Blurring Primer. I think that's a better choice. I haven't rolled this one in quite some time. And those are the tippity taps of my dog's feet. For concealer, I think, which one do I want to pull? Maybe, I really like this Flower Beauty one. I think, it was so hard. I think maybe the Charlotte Tilbury. It's been a minute since I've pulled this one in. I really try to rotate these out as best I can. I should probably have a better system so I can actually remember which ones I'm not reaching for, but I don't, not yet. So I'm gonna pull in the Charlotte Tilbury for now. foundation, I am making my way through this drawer. This one I do have a system as far as rotating. I put all the ones I haven't rotated through here, and then once this drawer is empty, I'll start over. I have been thinking about this It Cosmetics CC cream, the original, for quite some time. I really think this one's close to being empty. Well, maybe not close. Close for me. It is maybe half full, so I want to give this one some more love. And then while I'm at it, I'll pull in the Nude Glow, because I kind of think that I want to declutter the Nude Glow. I'm not sure, but I remember when I tried it, I just liked the original more. So these two will be my foundations for the month. Since last month I pulled in a pressed powder, I think this month it's time I pulled in a loose powder. Do I want to try a new, never been used powder? Well, I don't have any loose ones in here other than this one. Let's give this one a shot, shall we? This is the Nikita Joy Cosmetics. What is this called? The really popular one, like the blurring, the Velvet Finishing Powder. I think this is more geared towards people with really oily skin, but I can get oily throughout the day, so maybe this will help keep the oils at bay. I've heard really great things about this powder, so let's give this one a shot and just see how we do. Last month, I pulled a face palette instead of one of my singles, so I definitely want to focus on my single bronzer blush highlight this month. And let's see, I'm gonna bring in this Phytosurgence for my cream. It's kind of like a cream to powder hybrid, but I really enjoyed this. I did a full face of Phytosurgence. I'll link that video up above. And I just want a reason to pull this out again. So that'll be my cream. And then for powder, I did the Buxom. I did. What should I pull? Oh, that's a cream. Problem is the ones back here I can't really see, can I? Let's pull this one, the Estee Lauder Bronze Goddess, because we're still kind of in summer. I know October, not really, it's technically fall, but I'm going to take advantage of this glowy bronzer and use it anyway. So these will be my two bronzer products. These are all my powder blushes. I do have this category separated by creams and powder because I have so many. Ooh, I want to bring this in. This is the ColourPop Pressed Powder Blush in Flirt Alert, one of the heart-shaped blushes. I was late to this train on picking one of these up, so I'm going to bring this one. It's just a good neutral powder blush. And then let's pick out a cream. The cream drawer doesn't look that full, but trust me, it's full enough. What do I want to pull that I haven't pulled in a minute? Maybe this one from Yes Style. Who's this by? I can't read it. So one of the Juicy Pink blushes. It's the Jelly Blush Duo in some sort of color. I'll have it listed down below, but it's very similar to the MAC Glow Play blushes where it's like that cream to powder kind of putty feel. Really like this, so I can't even remember the last time I used this, so we'll give that one some love. We know I'm not really into cream highlight, so I'm gonna just continue to skip it. I don't know, until I decide what I want to do with my cream highlight collection. I don't know. Like, I don't want to get rid of these, but at the same time, like, I don't know how often I'm going to use them. But let's just pick out a highlight. What is this Chanel one? I don't remember this highlight. This is the Metal Peach. I actually think I pulled this in not that long ago, or I tested it out. Charlotte Tilbury is really pretty, but it's very blinding. My Dior ones. Mercier, no. Maybe one of my Pat McGrath ones back here. So I have the heart one. Let's see, this one I think is a little bit more copper. This one I think is a little bit more champagne. You can kind of see that. I'm gonna go with the darker one because I have a tan, so maybe this will fit my skin tone right now. Fingers crossed, and get some love out of this one. All right, lipstick is the next category. So I did go pretty easy on myself last month since I was kind of traveling around. So this time maybe I'll push myself outside my comfort zone, maybe. Or at least give myself a little bit more of a challenge here. So I need to make sure I'm pulling things from the bottom because they kind of get lost. I do need to put this in 2 drawers or just figure something out. I think I'm going to pull this Odin's Eye lipstick. I got this in a mystery box, the one and only mystery box I've ever bought, which is in Brown Rose. It's actually a pretty color. It's kind of dark, though kind of fall leaning. Oh, oops. Just got some all over my finger. That's okay. But I can't remember the last time I used it. So we'll give that one some love. And then maybe I want to pick the same colors, but a lot of these are the same colors. I'm going to pull, no, I don't want that one. Should I pull Lisa Aldridge? Which one is this? Velvet Muse. Okay, we can pull Velvet Muse. That's just a classic. Again, darker, but this formula is really good at layering. I can make it a little bit more sheer if I want. So that's 2 lipsticks. Let me try and find like more of a shiny formula and then maybe more of a matte. At this point, I'm just not sure it's worth trying to keep this in any kind of organization. I'm going to pull one of my ColourPop Just a Tints because they're super easy to reach for. This one's in the shade Shaka, and it's a little bit lighter, cooler. It will actually go really good with that Muse if I want to add some shine on top of it. So let me pull this, and I need one more. Come on, Melissa, you can find it. Maybe the Milani Luminoso, or I just pulled that though. It's weird because I have so many lip products, but I feel like I'm pulling them all. I really need to like my foundations just get a system in place so I actually know what I'm doing. How about the Tower 28? I believe I have the shade Coconut. Yep, that's the one that I have. So a little bit more of like a lip oil kind of treatment. That's really pretty. I like that a lot. All right, that wraps up lipstick. I think I like how I did it last month where I just found a palette in my collection and then showed it to you in my wrap-up video. It's just a little bit easier because I have so many eyeshadow palette drawers and I don't want to pull too many, maybe 2 or 3. We'll just see depending on how big they are. So I'm gonna pan you over to all the products that I pulled and we'll talk about my eyeshadow palettes as well. So here's everything that I pulled for most of the month of October, since I kind of do these around the 20th. The palettes that I decided to bring in is the Cosmic Beauty Muse palette. This is going to be like my bigger palette with some color to just push me outside my comfort zone. And then I also decided to pull in a Natasha Denona. I'm going to pull in the My Mini Dream because I really, really like this palette. I love the cool tones in it. And then the last one I'm going to pull in is one of my unopened Dior palettes, one of my Quints. And this is in Soft Cashmere, I believe. yes, 669. And this was before they reformulated. So I picked this up because it was on my list to purchase before they reformulated. And then I never used it. It has like just some pretty purple tones in there. And I think it's just time. Is the light good enough? Is it picking it up? There we go. So these will be all of my products for the next month or so. And we'll see how this goes. I'm excited for these products. I'm excited to have a little bit more variety because last month was definitely a little bit smaller. I can play a little bit more, really do some testing to see like if these still belong in my collection or not. So I'm excited. Anyways, this is where I'm gonna leave you all. I hope you're having a great one, and I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone.